Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. I hope all is well. I hope everybody had a magnanimous weekend. I know that a lot of folks were getting past the spring break. You had your kids with you for the whole week. So now they're all headed back to school. Praise the Lord. I, I know some of y'all are happy for that. But anyway, it's time to get back into the swing of things, get back into our regular work week, and it's time to get back on our Marketplace Monday. You know, this series that we're doing on, I call it the Scaling Series. Today, I want to talk about the three engines that power scalable businesses. We need to understand that business does not scale by accident. I mean, I think we really got to get a revelation. A lot of times we think businesses grow because they have a great product, businesses grow because they have great people. They could grow because of those things, but they're not going to scale because of those things. They scale when three core engines are working together. And what are those three engines? Systems, people, and capital discipline. Systems, people, and capital discipline. When one is weak, growth, listen, becomes stress. When all three are aligned together, growth becomes sustainable. Think about that for a minute. When one of those systems is weak, it becomes very stressful. But when all three are working and clicking, growth now becomes scalable, it becomes sustainable. So, again, like I said, over the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about how businesses move from just surviving to growing to actually scaling, right? Most businesses start out in day one just trying to get that first sale, trying to get to that first, 10,000, that first 100,000, that first million, right? Just trying to make it to the next day, right? So we've been talking about that, but now we want to talk about how do we go from that to actually scaling the business. Think about it. Growth means what? We talked about this. Growth and scale are different. Growth means more customers. Growth means more revenue, money coming in the door. Growth means also more work, right? But what's the difference of scale? Scale means more revenue. What does that mean? More revenue without increasing effort, without increasing cost, and most importantly, without increasing chaos, right? Write this down and don't ever forget it. Growth adds pressure. Scale adds capacity. Growth adds pressure. Scale adds capacity. A lot of businesses grow, but they don't scale. A lot of businesses grow and they don't scale. And when you grow without scale, you don't get freedom, you get overwhelmed. Let me say that again. When you grow without scale, you don't get freedom, you get overwhelmed. So today what I want to do is I kind of want to bring this all together because scaling is not about working harder. It's not about getting lucky. It's not about getting more customers. Scaling happens when these three components that I want to talk to you about today work together inside a business. And again, if one of them is missing, the business is going to struggle. But if all three are aligned, the business expands. So let's look at these three today. Number one, and let me just tell you what they are, and then I'm going to go through them individually. Number one, it's systems, write that down. People, write that down, and capital. Systems, people, and capital. Those are the three engines that power businesses to scale, right? So systems, write it down. The foundation of scale, right? That's the foundation. Systems are what systems are what turns effort into consistency. Systems are what turns effort into consistency. Without systems, everything is reactive, not proactive. Without systems, every day feels like a different challenge, a different problem, a different mountain you got to climb. Without systems, mistakes repeat. Without systems, The owner stays involved in everything. When you know you have a real small company that's not set up correctly, you have owners that feel like they got to put their say so in everything. They don't trust their employees. They don't trust the people. They don't trust the systems. And why is that? Normally it's because they don't have the capital, right? But with systems, what happens? Work becomes predictable. With systems, processes can repeat and can be successful. With systems, results can be measured. You know, when you look at operational research, especially publications like Harvard, it shows that companies that standardize processes, whatever process you have in a business, standardize it. Those are the businesses that rely not just on individual effort, but their systems, right? So understand this, if your business runs on people memory, it eventually will break. If it runs on systems, it can scale. Pastor, why are you talking about all this? I work for somebody. I don't know that I'll ever own a business. You should always desire, if you're a believer and you're in the kingdom, to one day own a business. I've owned several businesses. You should want to own a business. All of these things help you, right? If you can scale a business, you can scale the kingdom, right? If we could scale a business, we could scale the kingdom. If you learn how to work with people in business, you can work with people in the kingdom. If you learn how to scale a business, then you could scale your ministry, right? So point number 2, people. People are the multiplier of scale. What do you mean? You cannot scale a business without people, right? But here's the mistake most leaders or most business owners make. They hire help instead of building capacity. Let me say it again. They hire help instead of building capacity. Scale requires the right people in the right role with clear expectations. Let me say that again. Scale requires you hiring the right people in the right role with clear expectations. Maybe you got somebody working for you right now that you feel is the right person. Do you know the role you ultimately want them in? Or are they in the role that you want them in? And if they are in that role, do they have clear expectations? A lot of times people think they do, but they don't. And often when you look at, and you go into these leadership forums with firms like McKinsey and Deloitte and Harvard Business Review, they will, if you read, it'll tell you high performing organizations build leadership layers, not just teams. If you hire a guy to do a job, to, let's say, run a crew, run a team of men, team of people, part of his job expectation. Now watch this. A lot of you haven't thought about this. Okay, I'm going to put you over this team. I'm going to put Miss Aaron over intercessory prayer team. Okay, but who are you now developing to be the next 1 or 2 people to take over that team? Who are you? That's why we came up with the plus ones in the church. It shouldn't just be about them doing their job, doing their part, doing their role. Now you got to have them training the next person. So again, the goal is not to add people. The goal is to create ownership. The goal is to create accountability. And the goal is to do that at multiple levels. People don't just do work. The right people expand the business so that we can hire, so we can handle more business. This is a model I live by. Write it down. Don't ever forget it. It should be the number 1 pillar of you starting any business. Never hire people to do a job. Hire people to expand the vision. If you're hiring somebody to do what you do today, that's the wrong thing. Well, Pastor, but I need somebody to drive the truck. I need somebody to mind the store. I need somebody to cook the ribs. Okay. But you need to hire them with the vision that we're going to start another barbecue restaurant. I need you to come in here and cook these ribs, and I need you to train 2 people because we're getting ready to expand. Always have people thinking about expansion. Last point. So we got the point number one, which was the systems. Point number two, we need people. Point number three, what brings it all together? Capital. And it's not just money, it's capital discipline. Capital discipline is the protector of scale. Capital discipline is the protector of scale. This is where many businesses, right, that are growing get in trouble. I didn't say many businesses that aren't growing, many businesses that are growing. They build systems, they hire people, even to expand vision. Revenue increases, but they lose control of the finances. Some businesses never even have control of their finances. I see people buy businesses every day, don't know the basics about the finances. What's the total account receivables? What's the total account payables? How many accounts do you have? How solid are the accounts? Do the accounts have contracts? When do the accounts expire? How long have the accounts been with you? What's the churn rate? I mean, you got to ask all these questions. Why? Because you could have money, but you lose control of your finances. Scaling requires discipline with cash flow, discipline with expenses, and most importantly, discipline with margins. I mean, when you look at these research firms like Deloitte, they show you that companies that scale successfully, they maintain tight control over operational costs, over expenses. If expenses grow faster than revenue, guess what's coming? The pressure. The pressure. Remember this, write this down. Revenue fuels growth. When you got more money coming in, that's going to fuel growth. But discipline around your revenue protects your growth. Discipline around your revenue protects your growth. Okay? So here it is. Systems create consistency. People create capacity. And capital discipline creates scalability. Let me say it again. Systems create consistency. People create capacity. And capital discipline creates stability. Now, guess what? If one of them's missing, systems without people creates bottlenecks. People without systems creates chaos. Growth without capital, that creates collapse. That creates collapse. But when all three are aligned, they're working good, businesses will scale and you will have tremendous success. So, as we see these three engines, next week we want to talk about the three. Which is the weakest? Right? Which one do you need the most work on? And one of the things a lot of people, especially insecure people, struggle with is they'll hear something and they'll just say, "Oh, I know that. Oh, I got that." You hear the word scale, you think in your mind you know what that means. Do you really know what it means? You hear the word capital discipline and you think because you got a couple of financial classes, you know what that means. Do you know what real business capital discipline means? Have you ever really scaled a business where you have unexpected expenses? I'm just saying, ask the questions. The more questions you ask, the more informed you get. The more informed you get, the more successful you're going to be if you seek solutions to the information that you're getting. Amen. Listen, I love you guys. I hope this has been informative. I hope it's been helpful. Like I said, if you're not in a business now, archive these, save them, bookmark them, make a record, because one day you will be, and these are the things you need to be focused on. I love you. I love you. I love you. Until Wednesday, Pastor Nick saying, enjoy